Hello everyone and welcome to Cinderful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the grey. Today's video is a Black Library review. In today's video, we'll be taking a look at one of the many publications brought out by Black Library and giving you our thoughts on the book, audio drama, whatever it happens to be. Now, I will say that we will try to keep this review to as spoiler free as possible, though there will obviously be points where we talk about things happening in the book. We will try to keep away from saying any of the major plot points, so you can go and read this book for yourself. We'll just give you our thoughts on whether or not we think it is something you may be interested in. So we'll use this video to instruct you on maybe is this sort of going to be a book that you would like to see. With that all said and out the way, let's get cracking on. Let's talk a little bit about the book that we have reviewed this time. In today's Black Library review, we're going to be checking out the Wraithbone Phoenix by Alec Worley. Now, as always, I like to check out the audiobook version. This one is narrated by Harry Myers, not a name I remember from any narrations, but cool, someone new to listen to. And I will say I really enjoyed the narration on this. Harry Myers definitely has a voice that fitted both characters so well. Now, this is the first Warhammer crime novel I've actually taken a look at. This one is called a Baggett and Clod novel. It's about a couple of less than great characters, we'll say that. But with that said, let's get cracking on into the review. Our story. Baggett is a fast-talking rattling with an eye for a big score. Clod is the Ogren with a heart of gold and a head full of dreams. These abhuman deserters turned criminals operating in the city of Gargantua have crossed the wrong man for the last time, and now they're on the run. At least that is, until Baggett himself learns of a score that could pay off their debts, save their skins, all at once. The Wraithbone Phoenix, a fabled treasure rumoured to be hidden aboard a void ship recently scheduled for decommission upon the planet, just on the outskirts of the city. But Baggett and Clod aren't the only ones with eyes on this prize. When word gets out, every thief in the dredge is going to be gunning for the Phoenix, along with many other things and people. Does Baggett have the cunning to find the treasure and get out alive, or will someone finally cash in on the bounty on his head? And so this book's purpose. This is really a much more light-hearted story in the Warhammer 40k setting. But that doesn't mean it's any less 40k for it though. It definitely has, you know, a lighter sort of feel and a bit more comedic and a bit more fun to it than a lot of other 40k stories I've read. But this definitely still has, you know, all those 40k grimdark elements to it. It introduces us to Baggett and Clod, the dynamic duo who are a ton of fun to read about. Who one can really hope will have many more stories written about them in the future. This set of characters was so enjoyable. I really want more of them. If there are more of them, let me know. And so, being called a Baggett and Clod novel, you would not be surprised that Baggett and Clod are indeed our two main characters. Now, they are both just super fun to read about. What's really interesting about this as well, I should mention before, is there's actual swearing in the book, which is not something you get a lot of. There's no frack, it is full-on actual swearing. So definitely if you are letting kids listen to this and you're not fond of swearing, probably not one of the ones to let them listen to, but it really does fit with what the characters are. It's like, these are two little scoundrels, or one scoundrel and one very, you know, lovable Ogren. Baggett is definitely, you know, a very underhanded sort of character. He's, you know, always gunning for the big score. And Clod himself, he's just a lovable Ogren along for the ride. Baggett is... There's a really interesting connection, though, between them, because Baggett really does care for Clod. It's really quite interesting of a dynamic between the two. Now, what changes about our main characters over the story? I think Baggett himself grows a little bit as a character, but more than anything, I think we're just fully learning about these characters in the story, more than them, say, growing too much or changing too much. I think we've definitely learned and we've rounded out the characters within the story, which, you know, over the next few Baggett and Clod novels, we might see, you know, the character development and the changes become much more noticeable as we now sort of have these fully rounded stories about the characters. If anything, Baggett definitely closes off a few of the things that are, I guess, mentioned pre sort of where we're picking up in the story. There's a few things that get closed off and sort of, we're getting this fresh start with Baggett as a character. We've learned, about his past, but all of that sort of gets closed off, I think, at the end of the story. Which is really nice. We learn about our character's history, but it's not going to define where we're going with the rest of these stories. What does this book do well? And I have to say, I think it's the fun aspect and the laughs you get from this book in the Warhammer 40k universe that make sure they don't detract from what makes 40k 40k, but definitely add, this light-hearted aspect to it. We get two, very comedic characters at the core of this book, but they are in a grim, dark universe. I think this is just such a hard sort of medium to do that in, where so many people will judge, on is it grimdark, is it this, and not want these different aspects maybe added to the book. But I think it's a better story for it. I think these two characters definitely need that. I think they're very well written characters to bring those 40k, those laughs and fun to a 40k story. Now, that should be said that, like I said, it's not any less of a story. And the fun and laughs aren't in, I guess, bad taste either, which maybe, with a universe like what 40k is, can definitely be something that happens. They're not in bad taste in any way. They're quite enjoyable and quite, relatable. Baggett is a relatable character. And so who would enjoy this book? For me, this book doesn't really target any sort of specific faction, It, of course, has a Ratling and an Ogrim. They're both in Astra Militarum in the Imperial Guard. So maybe if you like the abhuman parts of that army, you're really into Ogrims or Ratlings, then maybe you're going to get some joy out of this book. It definitely will sort of, focus on you. But it's not really a guard book, though. Now, for me, this is just a fun story with a couple of good characters. It's light-hearted. I think anyone could enjoy picking this up and giving it a listen. The characters are well written. Like I said, they're fun, enjoyable. This is just something for anyone, really. In summary, this is fun and enjoyable with lots of moving parts without being too much to follow at the same time. For me, this was, really enjoyable. Like I said, the fact that this can bring a bit of lightheartedness to 40k with still quite clearly being a Warhammer 40k novel, I think it deserves, all the credit for that. Solid 6 out of 10. Definitely worth a read for anyone who enjoys the abhumans. Always looking for, a little bit something different in your Warhammer 40k listens or reads. If you've listened to this, if you've read this, let us know what you thought down in the comments below. Well, that's the end of the video. Thank you all for watching. We hope you enjoyed. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And also drop us a comment down below letting us know what you enjoyed about the video. If you'd like to come and chat more with me and other members of our community here at Cinderful Gaming, you can do so on our Discord server, which is linked down in the video's description. If you'd like to help support the channel more, you can do so either by Patreon or YouTube members or going to our Teespring store, all of which are linked down in the video's description as well. As a special thank you to our patrons and YouTube members, we'd like to give you all a shout out. So, a special Patreon shout out to Christian Weir, Soren, Kenny Lyle, Owl Shot First, Andrew Bowen, Nathan Fee, The Rising Ape, Q Dynamic, Anthony B, JJ Austrian, Average Wargamer, Domir, Mark Harvey, James Cader, Derek Bloobs, Benjamin Suarez, and Red Martin. And as thank you to our YouTube members as well, Green Roots Gaming, Kenton Young, Ronya, Lock Lorick, The Johnny 84, David Ellsworth, Wolfric Nick, Broken Chef, Ariana Edwards, Revenar, Pink, Nico Fire, Robin Mankiller, Monty's Tabletop Terrain, John Castle, and Davis Wire. Special thanks also to Lady Witchfox Art, who does all the amazing artwork you see on the channel, like you can see pictured here on this slide. Thank you once again for watching, everyone. Stay safe, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the grey. Ciao for now.